Welcome, everyone, to Legends and Lore, our unique cooperative campaign series where each of us get to play, as well as take a turn in the GM seat, creating legends and weaving lore into one epic tale. Joining me at the old table are the 5 talented personalities in the TT RPG community that'll help bring this campaign to life. I am Eric, the Grin Master for Creating Grin, and I will be playing Ether Frostbeard, the Forgotten. A mountain dwarf haunted by an event in his past, who was left behind in episode 1 and maybe in episode 2.
And maybe in episode 3.
I'm gonna throw it over to Rachel if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us all your little things that you got going on.
Hi, I am Rachel, otherwise known as the Organized DM. I play Morrigan, who is a grave cleric. And she stayed behind last episode as I was running it, but she is on babysitting duty currently and will hopefully be out of the line of fire in the immediate vicinity. We'll see. But that's about all I've got now. I can tell you a little bit more about my projects and things coming up at the end, I'm sure. And I will go ahead and throw it off to Andy.
Greetings, beautiful nerds. I am Andy, aka MrDanDyDM, and you can find me on all the socials. I'm really excited to be here just to be DM'd by North Wolf. This is the first time you've DM'd me. We've been in games together, but this is the first time, so I'm excited. But yeah, and I look forward to sharing all the goodies with y'all at the end. And I will turn it over to Janelle.
Hey everybody, I'm Janelle. You can find me at Boss Jellybean all over the internet. And I play Anissa on this game, She is a barbarian fighter, rune knight, and totem warrior, Goliath. She's kind of like a muscle mommy. And
Kind of?
Yeah. Okay, she is a muscle mommy. And yeah, you can find me, technically next week, but I guess when this comes out, it will have already happened, but doing a lot of Fae Dark Eclipse, running that on my channel, and also some Salvage Union, which Andy and Rachel are in both those projects. But yeah, that's me. I'm going to throw it over to Michael.
Hey, I'm Michael. I'm with the Dadvantage. You can find us on all the socials and all the sort of audio podcast locations. Tonight I'm playing Bamf Wagnerpuff, who is a lavender-skinned air genasi and Echo Knight fighter who has now learned how to do a little bit of storm sorcery as well. So he's perpetually looking to get stoked on air. I don't know what that means, but that's what I'm going to go with. And I'm going to turn it back to our perpetual game master, Eric.
And now I will take the time to turn over this episode to Grin Master Northwolf. Take it away.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Northwolf911. I am your Grin Master for this evening. What does that mean? You're about to find out. But you can find me on all the socials as one half of Twisted Fates. And you can find me basically do a little bit of everything online. But tonight, we're going to go into this session and talk about lots of things, hopefully. And what does that mean? We're about to find out. So let's dive into this episode of Legends and Lore. As we find ourselves and all of our heroes here gathered around after defeating this Kraken that has been inside of this sea of black goo, we watch the camera lower itself into this cave and surround and basically do a circle around all of our heroes. We see Boulder and his brother Beans next to each other. We see Onissa and Banff in the rear. This big rock is now standing in front of them. The runes have, looks like, turned off. Nothing around it is activated anymore, and the sea of black goo can be seen receding. We watch as the characters, our heroes, head their way back up the spiral staircase, where they find Morgan. What are you currently doing?
Morgan is currently still perched atop the bound hands and feet of the elf/dragon that we had previously fought in the tower. And as everyone climbs up and re-enters, she turns her head at an unnatural angle towards them. Well, are we done here? Do we need to wake this guy up? What are we doing?
Well,
I don't know. Has anyone seen the dwarf?
Oh, yes. As Ether will come walking up way behind everyone, coiling up the rope, if I remember correctly.
So there's still big sea of black goo, but there's also Skyrock with runes, but they're not glowing anymore. So I don't know how to put ooze back in Skyrock.
Skyrock. That is concerning.
Especially if there are more Skyrock. Like, do you think they will start to fall, like, too many, and then people start getting hit by rocks? Like, how?
I don't think anyone would survive that kind of impact.
No, I'm saying that's the problem. Like, with
I don't think
How many more
anyone
are
would survive the ooze.
lots of bad things come from the sky.
Except Morgan here. I mean, Morgan, you know, they're cool. And, you know, me and my brother were cool.
Okay, if you have wings, that doesn't mean you come from, like...
From sky, no, that's
Boulder
not
is
how
going
that
to
works.
take a small hanky, and he's going to hand it to Onissa so that she can just sort of dab at the nosebleed that she
right,
had
I forgot that
at
fucking
the
happened.
end of last session.
And she takes it and goes, why am I... What?
Why are you bleeding? You
I
do not
don't
need to
know.
bleed.
I don't...
Did you get hit?
No. I need
Suspicious.
a nap, maybe. I don't. We should do something about big pile of ooze, right? Does anyone... I mean, we killed the thing in the ooze. Any ideas about how to... I don't know.
As you guys are talking and gathered around, Boulder, you see your brother next to you. And for a moment, he seems all right. Beans looks okay. Morgan, you watch as Beans' eyes roll to the back of his head. And he collapses.
The fuck did you
What
do
do
to
you do?
Beans? And I
I
fly
didn't do
over.
anything to Beans.
Beans? Beans.
Check his nose. Make sure he's not bleeding from it.
I kind of
Boulder, did he collapse? Is he just
He
like
collapse.
Did he?
Boulder
did he eat
immediately
some
just
of
sort
the-
of tries to like get his arms underneath his brother.
As you watch in slow motion, Beans collapse, his eyes roll to the back of his head, and he falls into your arms, Boulder. You notice right away he's not breathing.
I am going to oh shit, I don't have any health potions. Well, that sucks.
Morgan lands and will cast Cure Wounds.
There we go.
Thank you, Morgan.
Kind of
As you
aggressively. Just like smack you with her wing.
Sure. As
Aggressively heal you.
As you cast Cure Wounds, what does Cure Wounds cure?
Pretty much just hit points.
Okay. You're not going to have to expel this spell slot because you're going to notice Cure Wounds doesn't work.
Oh. That's bad.
I picked up a new trick, and so Bamf has sort of a little bit of electricity starts to sort of hover around his finger, and he's like, I could kind of just shock him.
Do anything, please.
I'm gonna use a little bit of shocking grasp on.
Oh my
on
god!
Sure. Go for it.
At ninth level.
I
That was a
wanna
good idea.
know what-
The ultimate defibrillation.
Sure. Shock and grasp. What does that do technically?
Well, it does damage. That's really what it does.
Okay.
Damn it, Jack!
Wonderful. Sure. You know what? Roll for me, just for shits
Oh
and
my
giggles. And what you're
gosh.
rolling for here? What you're rolling for is to see how effective this is.
Okay.
Technically, you will do this at advantage because he is prone and unconscious.
So, am I rolling to hit him, or am I just rolling?
No, you're rolling to see the effectiveness of this.
The episode where North GMs is the episode where we murder Beans.
Yes, that's right.
Straight up
Please do not
Well, I
do
roll
this.
really poorly, so
Sure.
even with advantage, I only get an 11 to hit.
Sure.
Tell me what that does.
Sure.
I feel like Bamf goes to a really fancy rug nearby and just starts quickly moving his
That's
feet
exactly
back
it.
and
That's
forth,
it.
and it just yeah.
Wonderful. As you do that, we can watch his feet just kind of rub the rug really fast, and comes over, and I can see Bamf just hover over Beans and kind of both hands on his chest, just try to shock him. And when you do, you watch as Beans' body jumps up a couple inches off the ground and slams back onto the ground with no effect.
Is Beans breathe? Like, if I go over and put my ear to his chest, is he alive?
Is not breathing.
All right, fuck this. And Morgan slams both of her wings down onto his chest, and she's going to try casting Lesser Restoration, which means that I can end either one disease or one condition affecting it. It could be anything like blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poison. Does that
How
have
about
any
electrified?
effect?
No.
Electrified.
Does Lesser Restoration cure depression?
It does not.
May I roll an Arcana check
Go
to
for it.
see if there is something, because we know that he was hit originally, and he's
Right.
been kind of wonky ever since
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Can I roll an Arcana check to see if that's what's affecting him, or if this is something else from the fight
Sure.
that we just had?
Sure. Go for it.
All right, I'm gonna roll with my Enir dice. Here we go.
Did you
Nat
get a
20?
Did you get a nat 20?
Nice.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'll
Oh
take a
my
picture.
gosh.
I'll take a picture
Yes.
and
What a
put it in the
clutch
Discord.
roll.
Save the brother.
Yes.
here we go.
There's been a fairy nat 20 in every session so far.
Look, the dice want to tell a story, and that's the
So-
story.
Boulder, you recall a conversation you've had with your brother. As you do this Arcana check, you realize Beans made a deal with someone who's collecting.
What?
Do I remember who this person is?
Beans wouldn't have told you the name. But someone has come to collect 4 Beans. And it looks like his soul is no longer in his body.
Oh.
Shit.
We wouldn't have any of this information, right?
No.
This is the private thing? Fuck, okay.
This is a massive leap, but I feel, drastic times call for drastic measures.
Sure.
Both Boulder and Beans are of the Feywild, and they are we're twins.
Sure.
Wild.
Is there anything that is there any way that I can maybe reach into Beans or remember something about an inciting event that maybe I don't know the name of, but I can remember at least the given circumstances that led to it?
Sure. I would say, being from the Feywild, there are different methods of communication that require verbal and nonverbal. There's also psychic. There's also other ways to communicate.
I see. None of which Boulder possesses.
Sure.
I think while all that is happening, like, Onessa obviously doesn't know what Boulder knows, that, like, the spirit or the soul is gone, and she's, like, leaned down next to Beans and is putting her hands on him, and you guys see, like, a rune light up on her skin, as she tries to cast command. It is like, Beans, wake up! Wake up! And just, like, keeps, like, repeating it, and you see that she, like, starts crying.
No response.
Okay, so I'm leaning against the fireplace, Ether is, and he's going to cash in a first level spell slot to use Primeval Awareness. So as an action, expending a spell slot, you can sense whether there are any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead that are present within 1 mile of you, within up to 6 miles, or within up to 6 miles, if we are in the favored terrain, which we are, because I selected Arctic. So that's what I want to do. Obviously,
Sure.
I know it'll probably ping with the 2 twins that there's some fae in there, but I'm more kind of honing in on the others.
Sure.
Especially with all the crazy space rocks and stuff.
Absolutely. What you can tell is there seemed to be something that followed y'all up the stairs and is no longer there. It's
So
basically
I'm
red.
I'm gonna sniff the air. What kind of does it leave behind? Like a fiendish
Sulfur.
taint? So, okay.
Ooh.
Morrigan leans forward over Beans again and whispers something that none of you catch in his ear. And then she's going to try to cast Gentle Repose, which only works on corpses or bodies. And it would allow me to extend the duration of me being able to bring him back to life. Does that spell work?
Momentarily, you watch as Beans gets reanimated and opens his eyes. As you watch his eyes open, they are white. There is
Brother.
no color in his eyes.
Brother, what's happened? Boulder just starts to shake Beans.
You watch as Beans reach out to you, Boulder, grabs your cheek as if he would to recognize you. And you can watch as his eyes tear up. And the last thing you hear before he passes out again is, "I'm sorry."
What is happening?
What's he sorry for, Boulder?
I chime in and I say, there's some sort of foul sulfuric smell around, as I start like Scooby-Doo and sniffing the air, trying to figure out where the trail is. I would like to try to use a survival check to see if I could track it.
Sure. Gonna have to roll pretty high, but yes.
What does sulfur smell mean?
It smells foul, typically left behind by demonic devils, things of that nature. I have a 22, 18 plus 4, to try to track the smell or direction it might have went to.
Do you have a inspiration?
No, do not.
But you would need a higher.
Okay, fair enough.
Morgan hears what Ether says and says, "They can't fucking have him." And she just starts slamming healing spell after healing spell after healing spell. Even if they're not working, she's throwing everything she has into Beans' chest over and over and over again.
You're gonna watch his body for every single spell that goes through jolt every single time as he hits the floor over and over and over with no resolve.
When he says gonna go over to Morrigan and like kind of put her hands on her shoulders and try and like ease her back a little bit if she can, but
She flips her head towards you. "They can't have him. He's ours."
Aether, you said that there was a sulfur smell.
It was brief for a moment, yes. It came up after us. And as he's kind of like walking around the area trying to find it, and obviously he can't find the center of the trail.
Could a demon potentially do this to Beans? Do we need to go get the demon, bring him back, and tell him to undo it?
What's his story for? That's the question. Like, why was he sorry? What did he do?
Yeah, I think Ether's looking at for everyone now.
I think I'm looking specifically at Boulder. Like, but what did he do?
My brother was brother was always... I don't want to say weaker. He was not weaker. He was just different. But I will say that he recently came into certain levels of power that I was very much surprised by, but I honestly was so proud of him that I never asked where he got them, how he came by his abilities.
Could he have gotten abilities from a demon?
It's entirely possible.
Bamf isn't the smartest guy. We all know this. But he does know, and probably Onissa knows this too. Like, giants will tap power by writing runes on their bodies.
Yeah.
So he's going to start sort of rolling up, like looking around and sort of like maybe not undressing beans, but like looking under clothes, like looking to see if something has been like a tattoo or something has been written on beans that might sort of inform him of like what could be going on.
Is there
I
a
will
demon
assist in this.
rune?
I would like to assist in whatever role or investigation that Bamf is doing.
If other people were better at Arcana, I could assist them.
I have a +4 in
Big
Arcana.
goose egg over here, so
I have +4 in Arcana.
I think what is I'll call you over and go I'll assist you.
Okay. All right. I would like to just start to not remove his clothes, but definitely just start to unbutton and just sort of look and like pull up his sleeves and move his wings to see if there's anything on his back, anywhere on his body that might have a mark of some kind.
Sure.
That's a 13 on the dice. That is a 17.
Oh, but with advantage.
But with advantage.
Assisting you.
As he is doing this, I'm going to move.
That's a
over.
14 on the dice, so a 18.
hey, there we go.
I'm going to move over while he's doing this because he's the primary one. Boulder's the primary one searching. I'm going to touch his shoulder and cast protection from evil and good just in case.
Smart.
Sure. As he does that, you're checking all over his body, his shirt, his legs, behind his wings. Even though 18 is a very impressive roll, you still see no marks. So, as you all are huddled around this, you're watching Beans, what's going through everyone's mind? We're going to start with Bamf.
Well, first, Bamf is thinking, like, where did he put his last blunt? Because he's really getting stressed out by this whole situation. And he might even look over at Hayes, who's sort of been standing in the corner, and Hayes will walk over. And now that Bamf has Mage Hand, Hayes can carry the joints. So Hayes hands him one, and he sparks it up. And he's sitting there, and he's just confused. Like, he doesn't really, literally, he's not very bright. But he really likes Beans quite a bit. So I think the two thoughts that are going through his head now that he's calmed his runaway brain a little bit is just he's really sad, and he doesn't know what to do. He feels kind of hopeless in a way that, you guys know that Bamf is pretty happy-go-lucky, carefree kind of dude. So to see him kind of stunned and not sort of goofing around is probably pretty, not as alarming as Beans being unbreathing, but pretty unusual. And he looks over at Boulder and he goes, "Man, I was sure that we were gonna find something."
Boulder is so... He's racking his brain right now, trying to figure out, like, any memories, anything that would help him remember why Beans is currently in this situation right now. And he's incredibly discouraged that he can't find anything. There's nothing physically that he seems to be able to do. And so he will just, like, right at as he lays Beans' head down, he takes this little blanket out of his knapsack and just puts it under Beans' head. And he takes out his lute, and he just starts to play a song that it's kind of a bittersweet song of the Feywild. Yeah, and he will do that with the hope that it helps, because he's completely at a loss.
Onissa?
Onissa's kind of watching all this happen. She's kind of fixated on the fact that Ether mentioned that there was a demon nearby and that the demon is gone. We can't get Beans to wake up, so like the logical thing seems to be to try and go after this demon. She like wants to go pick up Beans and bring him upstairs and put him on the couch, but she also doesn't want to interrupt Boulder. So I think she's just going to... She's gonna leave everyone with Beans, because it doesn't seem like there's anything she can do. If Morgan can't help, Onissa can't help. So she's gonna go upstairs. Is the dragon guy still asleep?
Yes.
She's gonna go over and kick him and see if she can get him to wake up.
Sure. And we're gonna watch you go towards this dragon dude that's laying down, as you mentioned, and the camera will shift focus to Morgan. Morgan, are you still trying to cast your spells onto Beans?
Yes. This is her entire job. She is the cleric. She is a grave cleric. This is everything that she has been focusing her power towards, everything that she has promised to her god for. And Beans is theirs, and she won't let him go. And she feels completely powerless and lost in a way that she's never really felt before. And she just she's not throwing healing spells anymore, but she's trying other things. Trying everything that she can think of. And none of it's working.
As the camera continues to watch over the shoulder of Morgan, you can hear the pounding of their feathers onto Beans. You can watch as they helplessly try everything under their power to resurrect their friend, their comrade. And the camera will shift over to Ether. As you continue to search around the room, you smell the scent of sulfur. You've been left behind now twice. How are you feeling?
So there's a brief moment where he kind of does that 1,000-yard stare, especially once everybody's kind of showing and revealing all the emotions, and the soft, gentle tune begins to play, where he kind of has to he staggers and braces himself against a nearby wall. And in his mind, he kind of reflects back to a kind of a tragic event that happened that set him on this path. His cold, blizzard-like kind of setting, snow just pounding on his kind of chapped cheeks and nose. He took a glance over at his traveling party, trying to keep them within visual during the kind of the heavy snow that's falling, and he saw his sister, along with her friend who had just joined their kind of guarding group. And before he felt the searing pain of being bludgeoned unconscious, he saw the horrific look on their face as they looked back at him. And that's when he kind of like snaps out of this moment. He reaches in a side pouch, he pulls out a potion, a bottle, strange colored liquid, pops the lid and just drinks it straight and just throws the glass jar onto the ground as he takes his last potion of vitality. He rubs his hands that are kind of bandaged up in those tattered bandages. I would say that anybody with a passive perception of like 15 or higher might see something. You would see that there's tiny black veins that are kind of like all over his hands, that he quickly kind of tightens the cloth up and continues to, he shakes himself out of it and then kind of continues that sulfur smell, trying to help so that no one has to suffer the same fate as he suffered.
As you all are watching this happen in front of you, Boulder, you start to notice something on your brother. You start to notice what seems to be white glows with little sparkles come off his body. Morgan, you see the same. And anyone else in the room can see Beans seems to be disintegrating in front of you.
Oh, Boulder's just going to immediately start to just grab at his brother's body just as he sees his brother starting to apparate away and disappear.
I don't feel good, Mr. Stark.
Pretty much.
Oh,
that
no.
You start to watch Onissa. You can see the little bits and pieces of golden glow come in your direction as your back is turned to all of this. It starts to fill the room.
If I start to see stuff like going past, if I turn around, is he fully disapparated at that point?
No.
Okay.
But you can watch as his body is starting to leave this plane.
I have no idea what to do and just turn back around and kick the dragon on the ground as hard as I can, because I don't know anything about magic or how to stop this, and I'm assuming that maybe the high-level dragon wizard might.
Bamf has a new trick. He's gonna cast See Invisibility on himself just to see if maybe he can see what's happening. He assumes that maybe something is happening that he might be able to see.
We're not going to have to roll for that. You can go ahead and cast it on yourself. When you do, you look around the room. The room looks exactly the same. There's nothing in this room that is invisible making this happen. This seems to be something that is just happening to Beans. As you look around the room, there is no other glow. Just watch as Beans gets brighter and stars seem to be forming around Beans' body and disintegrate.
As a last resort, right, as he's starting to disintegrate fully, Morgan will throw her wing out towards him one more time, and she'll try to cast life transference, which takes some of her life and puts it in him. And again, it does nothing.
Boulder, you're watching your brother literally leave this plane. There's only but his head left as it continues to disintegrate in front of you.
Boulder is going to fully freak the fuck out. And he is going to grab his brother's head, and he's going to open the eyes of Beans so that he can see the whites or whatever, and he's going to just yell at his brother's face. He's just, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you've done to him. But if I ever find you, there won't be a level of hell too deep for me to go to crush you into the dust.
As you say dust, the rest of Beans' head disappears. As you guys look around the room, you can feel the spirit of Beans inside of every single one of you. But he is no longer on this plane. You have a decision to make. You can rest, and you get a full rest. Or you can pursue to go on at the point of exhaustion. The choice is yours.
I feel like none of us are thinking clearly enough to rest, but
No,
that's my opinion.
there's no
of
rest.
the situation.
Boulder, what do we do?
Boulder just stands up, still looking at the floor where Beans' body just vanished from. And you just see him white-knuckling his great axe right now. And his wings are fully spread at this point. And he is just one wrong question from being completely unhinged.
When you feel the presence of Beans around you and you watch as the rest of the glow and stars fill this room, you notice a surge of power sifted into all of you. You are now level 15.
I'd say what now?
What?
You heard right.
What?
All of you are now level 15.
And
Do not change your character sheets yet.
Okay.
Okay.
But you are now level 15 in your current state. You feel the insurgence and power of Beans within all of you. The camera will shift to Oregon. What is the memory of Beans that you hold dearest to your heart?
The memory she's thinking of in this moment is back in the inn whenever we first got here, when he put himself inside of the fish and was kind of running around on the table. And she flew down and scared the absolute shit out of him, and he thought that she was going to eat him. And she's thinking about that moment and thinking about every moment that she has scared him, because she's done it repeatedly. And she's just thinking, I'm never going to get to hear him scream like a little girl again.
Bam. Camera shifts to you as you feel this new power resurging inside of you.
Banff is thinking, so Banff grew up like Anissa around giants, and Banff just keeps thinking that he's never met anybody as big as Beans in his whole life. And he just keeps, like, as he thinks about Beans is the biggest person he's ever met. And that's kind of where his head is at. And he's definitely just like, he's no longer, he's standing, he's sitting cross-legged on the ground, kind of sobbing a little bit. But just sort of reveling in the bigness of Beans.
As the flashes of your past go in front of you, the memories of Beans holds dear into your heart. Onissa, what is she thinking?
I think it's like a montage of a bunch of different paths they've walked on where it's always like Beans like on like her shoulder. And I think it's just like mostly like them traveling together and just like laughing and having fun rather than like any of the actual like battles. But the last thing that she thinks about is like the immense power that Beans had at the very end. And as she like feels that power surge through her, she's going to like fly into a rage and start punching the ground right next to like, if the dragon is laying on the ground, she's like hitting the spot as close to his head without actually punching him in the face. And I think if she's level 15 at this point, it's like cracking the ground, and she's just trying to yell at him to wake up and saying that we need help.
Beautiful. Ether.
I think with the surgence of kind of the energy that's been passed through and along, that he doesn't know Beans that well because he's always been left behind, but what little encounters he's had, he could tell that he was a fighter, and he can respect that he had huge spirit and the ability to persevere, seemingly. And I think he looks probably towards Boulder, who's hurting and kind of is grieving currently, and he can kind of respect that based off his kind of past. And I think he kind of whispers a little something like, "Don't worry, little friend. We're going to come get you and make sure that you come back. We've lost too many along these pathways we've all traveled. We shan't lose no more."
Boulder, what's going through your mind?
Much like some of the others, just sort of these flickers and montages of different memories. Although for Boulder, there's an entire lifetime's worth of memories that are just sort of playing out in front of him in his mind. Just being in the heart of the Feywild, dancing with his family in the moonlight, with his brother, just always talking about the different dreams that the two of them had of eventually becoming like the greatest adventurers. And initially remembering just sort of the disappointment, and Boulder initially went off and joined an adventuring party and had to leave Beans at home. And then the joy that Boulder experienced when Beans finally did leave the Feywild and join him on this sort of adventuring path. And just all of the many different shenanigans that the two of them have got up to. Just all sorts of different tomfoolery that would have made any Archfey, any member of the Feywild, really proud.
Everyone in the party, please roll a perception check.
So bad. I got an 8.
I got a 19.
13.
So Ether kind of wipes the tears out of his eyes and has a 7, so.
I'm punching the ground. It's fine that I had an 8.
Boulder, you feel a mosquito bite on your neck.
I immediately fly into a rage and smack myself wherever the mosquito bit me.
Level
That's a
15
bonus action, right?
barbarian, and you immediately hit yourself.
Yeah, you take 10 points of damage. I'm just kidding.
I would like to brutal critical.
Right.
As you hit yourself, Boulder, do you check your hand?
Oh yeah, because I will always survey the battlefield where my enemies have fallen, and I check my hand for its bloodied and beaten corpse.
Perfect. As you do so, you notice that there's nothing there.
I just sort of look at Morrigan, look at Onissa, just like, do you see where? I feel like I just got bit by something. Do you see where it bit me?
If I look at his neck, do I see anything?
Nope.
You slapped it so hard it went out of existence. Just.
When you're sad, do you feel bug bites? Is that the type of sadness?
No.
Okay,
That's-
I don't know.
Is that a thing for
Everyone-
giants?
Everyone
Maybe
in
it was
this
a thing for
room
fairies.
starts to notice that the twinkle of the golden glow of beans start to dissipate, and as you do so, you lose a level.
Feeling that, Morrigan is going to do something that she previously wasn't able to do before it gets taken away. And she is going to throw her head back and beseech her god with divine intervention, which means that I roll a percentile, and if I can roll less than 14, which is our current level,
Sure.
then I can hopefully get something. And she's just going to scream at the sky. I don't care who took him. I want him back. You can either show me where the fuck he is, or I will go and get him myself. Now, I
That
tried.
would've been such a good moment.
Oh.
It's such a great divine
So
intervention.
good.
Ugh.
So good. However, you do get a response,
Oh,
but not from your celestial.
Oh shit.
Nice fucking try, cleric. He's mine.
That is where you're fucking wrong. He's ours.
She's saying this out loud. He can hear, like Boulder can, or is this all in her mind?
No, you can. He is speaking to all of you
Oh
right
fuck.
now.
Okay.
oh, I can tell you what. Ether literally just reaches in
Bamf takes
for
the
his.
spliff and puts it down. Gotta lay off this ganja. It is It is extremely potent.
That's exactly it.
Got me hearing voices of demons. Mama always said this was the devil's weed.
Beth is fucking
Devil's
high
lettuce.
as shit right now.
That's exactly what happened.
Oh man. Good. I'm glad we could all laugh. Yeah.
So Ether's gonna pull out a wineskin, and he immediately just starts drinking it and starts passing it around. 'Cause we're
Perfect.
gonna need it.
Yeah.
I think when we hear the voice, like out of just a reaction, you guys see that Onessa actually like changes size. She goes from I think I go from large to huge.
Whoa.
As I use, what's it called? I think it's Giant Smite.
Sure.
Whoa.
Yeah, so she like actually grows like in size,
Awesome.
like as a
Awesome.
reaction to hearing it.
Anyone else have an action or reaction?
I am. Ooh.
Is there any way for us to track it from voice? Gosh, the one
Yeah,
time I
right?
don't have a spellcaster.
I know, right?
No,
I'm so
nothing
limited.
useful.
Oh my god, there's just no spells.
Oh my god.
I've got some, but not like enough.
We have none of the tracking spells, right?
Given my current level,
Sure.
given my current. Given my current
Hello,
level,
Boulder.
The great beyond.
Boulder is going to use Gaze of Two Minds.
Ooh.
What does that do?
I can use my action to touch a willing humanoid and perceive through its senses until the end of my next turn. I'm going to use Ether's ability to try and detect everything that he was able to detect, but in that moment failed to.
Sure.
Ooh.
Okay.
Cool.
What's that?
Okay.
While perceiving through the other creature's senses, you benefit from any special senses possessed by that creature.
Sick.
And you are blinded and deafened to my own surroundings. So I can't see or hear anything that is happening in the immediate vicinity. Everything is through Ether's perception.
Sure. That's kind of
I am specifically looking for the trail, the remnants of the sulfur smell.
Sure.
And in my mind, I'm saying, "Where are you, you son of a bitch?"
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cast that, so you can do that.
Yes.
Yep.
So that is a 15 on the die.
Sure.
And hold on, let me just quickly.
Morgan, would you have guidance?
Oh, that's good. Good point.
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted. The sad
You muted
face.
inside the. There you go.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll definitely cast guidance.
And this is what type of? Is it a perception check? Is this an investigation? What would this be?
I'm gonna say perception,
Okay.
even though technically it would be investigation. But I would say perception.
Okay. So guidance. So that means I am adding how much?
D4.
A
I
D4.
think.
Just a D4?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Don't fail me now. That is 15 on the die, plus my perception, which is a +1. So that is 16 plus the 4. That is a dirty 20.
Nice.
Yes. As your good friend Ether would know, he cast a 22 the last time he tried to get this spell. And unfortunately,
I will ask.
sure.
That was before the
Absolutely.
demon just started talking to us.
Absolutely.
Or a infernal being, etc., fiend, etc.
Sure. As your good friend 22 didn't this time. It is a nice try. However, we will resolve that after. Anyone else?
I have 2 things.
Sure.
I'm going to do my big boy one first
Sure.
because I don't know how long I'm going to have it.
Sure.
Morgan opens her mouth, her beak, and she utters a word in Celestial that literally shakes the foundation of the tower that you're in. And she's going to cast Divine Word.
Oof.
So
Okay.
you utter a divine word imbued with the power that shaped the world at the dawn of creation. Choose any number of creatures that you can see or within range, but it does say that each creature that can hear you. So I can't
Sure.
see this guy, but he can hear
Nope.
me.
Mhm.
He has to make a charisma
Or so you
saving
think. We
throw.
haven't confirmed it yet.
Okay. So if he can hear me, he has to make a charisma saving throw. If he is 50 points or fewer, he's deafened for a minute. 40 points or fewer, he's deafened and blinded for 10 minutes. 30 points or fewer, or hit points or fewer, he's blinded, deafened, and stunned for an hour. And if he has 20 hit points or fewer, he's killed instantly. And
Sure.
then, regardless of its current hit points, a celestial, an elemental, a fae, or a fiend that fails its save is forced back to its plane of origin and cannot return to your current plane for 24 hours by any means short of a wish spell. So if he can hear me,
God
that's
damn.
what I'm going for, because I'm sure he has more than 50 hit
Good
points. I'm sure
spell.
none of the other things apply to him. But I want
Sure.
I want to throw this bitch back in the house.
Sure. I love that so much. Anyone have anything else to say?
Just that this, if Ether is willing,
Sure.
Gaze of Two Minds, I am able with an action to maintain that Gaze of Two Minds for multiple turns.
Sure.
So if after an interlude I'm able to re-roll to see if I can find out where this thing is, I would like to.
Sure. Morgan, what's the charisma save that you need?
My DC is 20.
Oh
Perfect.
shit!
Yeah.
Perfect.
Broken.
Wow. Love it.
Broken
This is
build.
a 7th level spell.
Love that so much. You're not going to
Oh,
believe
right,
it,
'cause
but I
we're
rolled a
level
nat
14.
20.
I would
So-
believe it. You roll so many.
So, however, I will say this. As you say the words and the foundation shakes, you all feel divine word. You could see a cast of light come through the window. And you can see the foundations tremble. You feel what feels like a celestial presence in your area. As you hear the words come out of this thing's mouth, you reply back. You can feel the anger rise in the room. You can watch the lights flicker you all lose the levels you've gained. You're back down to level 9. But right before that, Boulder, you see this thing. And he turns and smiles at you. As the divine word finishes its cast onto this thing, you watch as he winks and waves and goes back to his existence without saying a word.
Can I Hunter's Mark him?
You can, I'm sorry, say it again?
Can I Hunter's Mark him? Because he's looking through my eyes, which means would I be able to see him too?
Yeah, it's your senses.
Yeah, I mean, your senses. That makes sense to me.
Boy, let's see.
There's no save for Hunter's Mark, right?
No, you pretty much just bonus action hit it.
Hell
Yep.
yes.
That's the beauty of it.
And then you can track it. Fuck yeah.
He's going to his plane of his existence.
I'm gonna cast it.
Doesn't matter.
No, I know.
It at
That's the point.
3rd level, so that I can hold it for 24 hours.
Well, he's gone for 24 hours, so yes, that's fine.
But he passed my DC, so technically he's not like, I didn't send him there.
No.
I guess he could choose to fail if he knew what you were casting.
Yeah.
Yep. But
Fuck, that worked out.
he
too
didn't.
well.
He didn't.
He just decided to peace out.
Oh, no, he did like plane shift? Okay.
He got a free pass to get out of here. So he just winked at Boulder and smiled. And the wink that you see, Boulder, is one of those charismatic see you later winks and waves as he lets the spell encapsulate him and disappears. But right before he does, you can watch the Hunter's Mark appear right onto his skin. But he disappears from this plane of existence.
What does he look like?
Yeah, what is this creature?
Sure. From what you saw, he looked like a regular human being.
What the... What? What the what?
From what you saw,
So he looks like a human.
he looks like a human.
That's deceptive. It's gotta be like an archdevil or something. I don't fucking trust that at all.
I mean, over the table, you shouldn't.
I know, North. I don't trust that.
You shouldn't trust any of that.
We find out
Based
if this
on
sounds
everything
bogus.
I've seen about you so far,
Straight
I do not trust you.
Hells.
Over the table, never trust anything I say.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Just curious to
As long
like
as he
what
sits on
does
the
this
throne.
human look like? Like
This human, the best way I can describe him is that he has short hair, brown short hair. It's kind of unkept. He has a suit. He has pants, shoes. Looks very businesslike.
calling it right
yeah.
fucking now.
So
I
basically,
mean,
like Dream
like
from
think of the
Sandman.
character Lucifer. If you've ever seen the show
okay.
Lucifer, that's him.
Oh,
That is him.
Well, that's
Yeah,
not
it's-
leading at all.
It's
Boulder immediately feels
fucking
intense
harmonious or
lust.
something.
Nosebleed happens immediately.
No.
So, as you guys are now, and I'm gonna, you know
With
what?
the gaze
I'm
of
gonna
two minds
say-
gone, the Boulder is once again like fully aware, cognizant of his surroundings, and he looks at Aether and just puts his hand on Aether's shoulder and just says, "Thank you.
Ether
Thank you for what you did."
finishes drinking from the wineskin again, and he puts his cork back into it, and he just kind of nods.
The haunting memories of this being, Morrigan, enter your mind as he has challenged you as no one has yet. You have lost a comrade. Boulder, you saw this thing. He looks like a human. As far as you know, that's what he is. Since this divine power has never been used before, do any of you have experience with divine power and what Morgan said?
I definitely don't have any idea what Morgan said.
So as far as you know, Boulder, he disappeared after the earthquake.
Oh, so we don't know that he went back to a different plane.
Nope.
And we didn't see him, so only Ether and Boulder.
The
really
only
saw him.
person who knows that might have worked is Morgan at this time.
Okay. Oh, I have absolutely... So I didn't even see him. I have no idea that anything...
Right,
Yeah,
you and I are just completely confused.
We're
just like, we're just like,
giant kids are just like, what the fuck
So-
is going on?
So Boulder, he knows that what he was looking for, which was what Ether was looking for a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And that was the source of whatever the infernal, fiendish stench, or the sulfuric smell. And while he failed initially, he did see something.
Yeah.
And that something then disappeared after Ether marked him.
Yep.
But also after Morrigan did something.
Yep.
So it's safe to say that this human-looking dude was our devil or demon. And right now he's got my brother's soul. / body? Question.
Sure.
And this will be a question for multiple of the people who have DM'd so far. The town. Was there any holy place within the town? Or was it just a godless fishing village devoid of, any
No,
anchor or semblance or tie to the
tiny little
ley
fishing
lines of
village
magic?
would have had a small temple. Yeah,
Yeah.
Was it? Can you say who it was devoted to?
it would have
Or
been more
if
like
it
an
was
all faiths kind of like where you can come worship any faith.
Unitarian? Got
You
it.
got it.
Universalist.
Yep.
Very watered down. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm looking at the Pantheon right now because I was trying
Right.
to figure out if there was a devil on here, but there's the All Father and the All Mother are kind of like the main ones, so
Correct.
I would assume it'd be them. And there's a bunch of kids.
Yep.
Okay.
As far as you guys are known, I'm going to take a little bit of the narrative here. As far as you guys know, this thing has disappeared. Your brother is no longer around. There's a lot that just happened within a short period of time. Anger, grief, depression, all sits in within your characters. You are all stunned at the moment. And yes, Boulder, you did see this thing, and either you noticed through his mark, and with your quick action, you were able to hunter's mark them. You have 24 hours to find out what happened to Beans. It is up to you what you do with those 24 hours. And the countdown begins. That's where we take a break.
Yay.
So, as you guys come back into it, we find ourselves back in the room after seeing this thing disappear in front of you, Boulder. There's not only a sense of desperation in the air, but a sense of sadness. You've all decided that you will rest the evening, as you only have 24 hours, but there hasn't been a long rest in a while. So you would take this opportunity to sleep, leaving you all with 12 hours left after you wake. So go ahead and take that long rest on your character sheets and replenish all of your stuff. We're going to go around the room one by one as you guys wake up. We're going to start with Boulder.
No! Sure.
Boulder, as you wake up, you open your eyes. You notice your comrades are nowhere to be found.
Because, of course they are.
You watch as you see a version of yourself run in front of you. Roll a perception check for me.
It's a 10 on the die, so an 11.
With a 11 on the die, take a look at this person. You can definitely tell it is a version of you. And you watch as another younger version of your brother is running after you. So you follow them.
None of my comrades are anywhere near me.
Nope.
Is the wizard still there?
Nope.
In the back of Boulder's mind, he's like, fucking figures. And he will get up and start to move off towards the versions of himself and his brother.
As you move off to those versions, describe how your home back in the Feywild looks like.
The home that Beans and Boulder come from in the Feywild, it's this mighty, massive pink tree, very much like oak flavored tree. It's this massive thing that is sort of like a world tree in like Avatar. And it is this bright fluorescent pink, much like the pink goblin mask that Janelle has posted in our Discord. Very much colored like that. And periodically there is this tree has a heartbeat of its own, and it will suddenly become more vibrant. And in the skin, in the bark of this massive tree, the fairies of the Feywild have found their home, is where they make their abodes. And at night, the seedlings and the pollens of this tree will float much like lantern lights in the sky around the tree, as the music of the Fey dance sort of echoes through the branches. And Boulder and Beans were some very, very naughty young fairies They were notorious for getting into all kinds of just shenanigans with each other. They once tried to steal an Archfae's crown off of his head, and it was all Beans' idea, but Boulder was the one who got in trouble for it. But in this particular just memory, it was after one particular Fae dance in the evening, and their mother was chasing them around the house, trying to get them to go to bed, unsuccessfully.
We watch you both escape out onto the branches of this enormous tree. And you can watch as the lantern lights dance in the darkness of the Feywild. You can hear children laughing, playing in the distance. And Beans looks at you. Why have you failed me? And we were going to cut to Morgan. Morgan, you wake up. You're no longer in the tower. You find yourself in the chapel. What does this chapel look like to you?
It's old stone. Columns that soar dozens of feet higher than most churches. The stained glass windows in several places have broken and are kind of overgrown with things that are coming inside. It's almost as if it's been abandoned, but it's filled with candles and an altar.
Who's the altar for?
Morgana, goddess of death.
You watch as a shadow figure approaches from the corner of this chapel. How does your goddess look like?
She's clothed all in black, a veil covering her face, and beneath it you can see her features are constantly shifting. She kind of glides over the stone floor as if she's not touching it. And everywhere she moves, cold follows her.
You can watch the frost follow behind her as if she were making those footprints into ice. She sits on the altar, crosses her legs, and looks at you. He is mine now. There's nothing you can do about it.
You can't have him, please. He's my friend.
But he is mine now.
I have served you so long, please. Ask this one thing, take me instead. They won't miss me, they miss him.
No. You still have work to be done.
How can we do this work without our heart?
Just as you've done before. And the camera will cut to Banff. You wake up. You find yourself in the skies. You can see yourself moving along with the passing of the breeze. Surf's up, dude.
Yeah, he is having the best, most stoked wind ride he's ever had, and he's just cruising along. And he starts to think of
his patrons, the gods he worships, Vash and Vespera, the gods of storms and wind, and he's so happy right now. And as he sort of makes his way through the sky, all of a sudden he starts to lose altitude a little bit. He starts to sink, and as he sinks, he lowers down into these really white, fluffy clouds that remind him of haze, but they aren't, and they get darker and darker. And there's a storm brewing in these clouds. And he's starting to get a little nervous because even though he knows he's protected by his gods, this is not a normal storm. This is dark and malevolent and angry. And as he looks on either side of himself, he sees Vash and Vespera riding the wind along him. And he realizes that they are twins. And slowly but surely, as they sort of fade away from him, he realizes that it's Boulder and Beans, not Vash and Vespera, in the sky with him. And the storm is getting worse and worse and scarier, and he's not sure what to do.
You watch as the two Fae brothers continue to fly within the heights of the skies alongside with you, and the storm seems to get worse. You watch as Beans gets swept up into the storm, and Boulder tries desperately to hold on. What do you do?
He calls out, Little dude, grab my hand. And he reaches out and maybe sends this mage hand, this sort of the hand of haze, as far out as he can to grab Beans before Beans disappears.
And you watch as Beans, just out of reach, misses the mage hand and falls into the storm. Onissa. You wake up. What does your tribe look like?
Ooh. I think the tribe of the Totem Warrior is kind of a mix of people from a bunch of different walks of life. So it's like very eclectic. No, like, yeah. So there's all sorts of races, and I think she's probably one of the only Goliath, though, because their entire point is to protect Jokul from frost giant attacks. So even among this like eclectic group, being a Goliath, someone who is like a descendant of frost giant blood, like is pretty unique here. But everyone is practicing their craft, and you see people learning how to harness their rage for battle instead of like just flying off the handle. So you see like the younger people who've been brought into the tribe like actually learning meditation and like when to release their rage rather than it just like controlling them. And then you see like the older people who are like on patrol, currently like in their job, like walking the borders, like ready at any moment for an attack. And I think that's probably like where Onissa like would naturally walk to. Like she wakes up, she sees this, and she's like, oh, it's my turn to be on guard.
Sure. As you walk up to another guard, you recognize this person. Who is it that you're talking to?
I would say it's probably one of the people who taught her. We'll say that they are a Firbolg, another of the giant kin. And they kind of nod to her, and she sort of bows with respect, ready to take up their post.
As he's about to leave, you can hear him under his breath as he mumbles, "Don't fuck this up."
I think there's a visible wince from Onisa, just because I think being in this tribe has not been an easy thing for her. As I said, she is of frost giant blood, so it being here has kind of felt like she's making up for the mistakes of her bloodline, her family. So I don't think this is the first time she's heard that kind of rhetoric, and she just kind of takes it, acknowledges it, and then goes out with the mentality of, I'll prove you wrong. I will be the best person here.
As the exchange of the guard happens, what feels like an eternity on your post, reality is it's only been an hour. You see something off in the distance. A boulder on fire flying towards your encampment.
She immediately turns and yells to everyone to move out of the way. She's trying to she grabs as many people as she can from where she thinks this thing is gonna land, and tries to grab them and jump or get out of the way of where this thing is gonna hit.
As you grab the individuals, the camera shift to Ether. You wake up. You find yourself in an encampment. You also see that your clothes are dirty from the hunt. You've been tracking something down. What has it been?
It's a rogue group of frost giants that have made their way down through Glacier Pass. They're encroaching on some of the other territories. And he's traveling with probably a group of 4 or 5 rangers, hunters that have sworn to protect kind of the area and his kinsmen. One of which has been established as his sister, older sister. The other is a friend of hers, which Ether has always kind of had this kind of thing for growing up. And he's always been kind of very quiet and reserved. You wouldn't even know he's there half the time. And he's always wanted to say something to her and kind of talk to her, and his sister has always tried to encourage him to do so. And they've been tasked with hunting down these 2, maybe 3 frost giants. It's hard to tell because they've kind of been walking in single file, kind of hide their tracks. And it's probably really late in the middle of the night when there is the sound of sleet and snow that's kind of pelting tents. Flame flickering can also be heard through the wind and the elements kind of trying to quelch the light. Loose mumblings and talkings around the campsite kind of keeps him stirred and awake, so he goes out to investigate.
As you draw closer to to investigate what it is that you heard, you hear the sounds of horns. And we're going to go to Boulder. Boulder, your brother just said, why did you fail him? What does that mean?
This is a younger version of Beans.
Yes.
do I get a sense that this younger version of Beans is actually talking to the younger version of Boulder, or is he talking to Boulder directly?
I'm assuming at this point you're standing next to your younger version, so he's looking at you.
Is there any levity or lightheartedness with how Beans is addressing Boulder? Or is it something that seems to be of this moment or outside this moment?
Seems to be outside of this moment.
What was I to do, Beans? You know me, I'm not the smart one. I solve problems by crushing them or writing a song about them. You've always been the one to be quick-witted, to think with your head, and not all of the other things. If I knew what I could have done, believe me, I would have gone to the ends of the earth for you. I'll still do that.
What you hear is silence. What you can feel, sadness. This version looks up at you. His eyes, sadness. You've always been the strong one, brother. It's not about smarts. It's about using the gift that you've been given. We don't need each other. You need to know when to let go. Remember to let go. You feel another pinch in your neck. This time, some blood starts to trickle down. You hear Beans move up to you, grab your hand. You have to let go, brother. Wake up. The camera will shift over to Morgan. He is mine. And you watch her get up, turn her back towards you. There's nothing you can do about it. It will be mine forever.
If you will not give me him, then tell me how to avenge him. Give me whatever it takes. I will do whatever you ask. But send us after that bastard that took him, and I will do anything you ask of me.
What makes you so sure that he took him?
He was quite smug about it.
You know fiends. When have they ever told the truth?
If he did not take him, did you?
What's it to you?
If you took him, I will destroy you as well.
Bamf, as you go into the clouds, you watch as a small beans is now lifted into this storm. Do you chase after? You're muted.
At first, Bamf was really nervous about entering the storm cloud. Like, even though he's fairly resistant to lightning and all these things, it's best to not mess with storm clouds. But this is different, and he has epic faith in his abilities. And so he's going to marshal everything he can. He's going to, his newfound sorcery, storm sorcery, which he got from studying those comic books he was reading, is going to give him just absolute confidence that he can rescue beings. And so he's just going to charge that barrel of wind and cloud, and going to just go as all out in terms of catching. He's going to summon Haze to his side, and repeatedly put Haze in front of himself, and then teleport faster and faster and faster until he can get as close to Beans as he can possibly get.
You watch as the storm rages on, stronger winds howl as you get closer to Beans. A question is then posed to you by one of your goddesses. What makes you so sure you can catch him?
Because I have to. There isn't any other option. He's the best of us. He's a giant amongst us. And he deserves to live. He has a lot to live for. I don't.
So you would throw your life away for someone so meaningless?
He would throw his life away for me, and has. So yes.
Ether. As you hear the horns around you, wolves start to appear. These wolves are black in nature. They are malevolent wolves. They are about the size of a dire wolf. You have 3 next to you. They don't attack. From the shadows, you watch as someone approaches. Who is that?
I think that it would be probably his sister, also accompanied by 2 other figures, one of which very small in nature.
Who is that?
I think it would be Beans, the small of nature, and they would stand at a distance to make themselves present, as if observing and watching. And I'd like to think, or Ether would like to think, that maybe his sister is with Beans in spirit, kind of protecting him, looking over him the way she always looked after Ether.
Why do you chase the dead?
Is that what I hear in my head?
No, it's said out loud.
By
Your sister.
he is uncertain of what to say, and he just surveys kind of the 3 dire wolves. His instinct is to fight. And he says, wasn't there when you needed me. I failed you, and I failed her, and I failed him, as he looks towards Beans.
As you watch Beans, he looks at you and whispers something into the direwolf's ear. You can watch as a wolf approaches you, bows their head, and lays next to you. You hear your sister say, "Need to know when to let go."
I don't want to let go.
Even if it kills you?
Yes, even if it kills me. As his kind of spirit and vigor gets a little bit uplifted.
You also feel a pinch on your neck.
Instinctually, he'll slap at it.
When you do, check your hand. Roll a perception check for me.
Seven.
You find nothing. As the camera shifts to Anissa, watch as this chaotic scene unfolds in front of you. You clearly grab all of the young ones that are in the way of this boulder safely and get them out of the way. Chaos starts to ensue, and you can hear war drums coming from the distance. What's going on?
I think if she's hearing war drums and that there's very clearly an attack happening, that she is going to give the younglings off to someone who can protect them and get them out of the camp, and then head with her mentor and the rest of the tribe and head towards those drums and to like go straight into battle. She's like going down through these snow-covered trees, and it's very like guerrilla warfare style battle of like people are being like these giant hands coming down and ripping people up out of the ground, coming out of like nowhere, like being hidden behind like large mountain slopes and things like that. I think it's just like chaos and blood as she's trying to both like protect this area and just survive.
As you see all of this chaos ensue, you feel a small hand grasp yours.
I look down. What do I see?
Watch Beans look up at you.
I feel like that.
Why do you keep fighting?
Vanessa looks really confused for a moment. Can I do an intelligence check, which I have no intelligence, but to
Sure.
see if I can figure out that I'm in a memory and not
Sure.
like actively in this place?
Sure.
Okay. Well, roll 20 completely blank on it. So if this would just be like straight until it's a 0. Yeah, it's a 9. So Vanessa looks down at Beans, confused, very much so, still in this moment of they're in a war zone, and like grabs his hand and starts running back to where like the safety is.
Sure.
And as he's like asking like, why are you still fighting?
Why are you still fighting?
To protect everyone, to protect you. And she's like trying to pull him and run back to safety because it's not just her in the middle of this fight. Now she feels like she has someone she has to protect.
As you pick him up and run the opposite direction, he will apparate onto your shoulder. And he's going to whisper in your ear, "But who protects you?"
My friends protect me.
But where are they?
She looks around and sees a lot of the tribe being slaughtered. I will have to find new ones.
But you don't have to do it alone.
Will you stay with me?
You have to learn to stop fighting all the time.
I don't know what else there is to do.
Not all fights are won with swords. And Boulder, you see your brother. You need to let go, brother. You need to learn when it's time to put down the sword.
Can I roll an Arcana check
Sure.
to see if this is a...
How about this? Instead of rolling, tell me why.
I would like to determine if this is a dream or if this is some form of manipulation.
What you can deter is that this is not manipulation. It is not a dream. It's not a memory. What you see and feel is real.
Okay, next question. Is this a part of where we are currently? Is this an effect of the environment? As somebody who's from the Feywild, Boulder's very familiar with the concept of the environment constantly changing, being super chaotic.
Sure.
But he is also a creature of chaos, or a person that is bred within chaos.
Sure.
Is this something that is a part of the environment, or is this something that is manifested through someone else controlling it?
Let's role play it out. You watch as the environment continues to shift around you and your younger versions of yourself apparate. And now you're in front of what seems to be a hot inferno. And a chair is pulled up. And the man you saw earlier crosses his legs in front of you. Smart one, eh?
Not usually.
I just looked at the Discord and I shouldn't have.
Pull it together.
Your brother is mine.
Listen, I think we've gotten off on the wrong foot. My name's Boulder. I'm Beans's brother. You know my brother Beans, the one that you've disappeared. Listen, we're but more importantly, we're twins. And so, a part of me has also been taken. And I don't like it when other people touch me without consent. So I will ask politely, give me back my brother, and maybe I'll let you keep your head.
You think you can threaten me?
I never said I was the smart one. You said that.
So what you're saying is I can have two for the price of one.
And you can give it your best shot.
You know, some things are not worth dying for.
I'm getting that feeling. But I'm a really slow learner. And for all this talk of letting go, I feel like this has just been your attempt to sort of let me down easy. Just be like, let your brother go. It's gonna be okay. It just comes off you sounding a little bit like a bitch.
As you say those words, you're going to notice that he shifts into your brother's body.
I don't like that.
And the camera will shift back to Morgan. You will fight all of heaven and earth for them.
Yes.
Young one, don't understand a thing, do you?
I understand loyalty. I've been loyal to you for a very long time. But I am more loyal to the family that I have made.
And you should know better.
You would think someone such as yourself, who has been around for so long, would learn not to touch other people's things.
The same could be said to you.
Give him back. I asked you nicely. If you are
He
the
was
one,
never yours to begin with.
that is bullshit. He is the heart of our group. He is all of ours.
The heart still beats. You should know better, cleric. What does it feel like deep down inside?
Feels like a hole.
Then you have failed him.
I am aware of that. This is my entire job, and I cannot do it because I am not good enough.
Set your emotions aside, little one, and lower your tone. Search your feelings. And as she says that, you feel a pinch. Bamf.
So, Banff has been flying as fast as he could after Beans. And it slowly starts to dawn on him that when we've been the strongest, we've been together, not separate. When we've succeeded, it's been as a team, not as individuals. And so he's going to look back to where he last saw Boulder, and he's going to will Boulder to join him in the sky. And then he's going to think of Morrigan and her beautiful wings, and will Morrigan to join him in the sky as he chases after Beans. And he's going to think of Onissa and their shared giant heritage, and will her into the sky. And whether this is really manifesting or whether these sort of are more cloud-based versions of each of everybody, he's going to imagine each of them joining him. Wait, there's somebody he's forgetting. He's going to think of Ether. And will Ether into the sky as well, and bring everybody together to the best of his ability. And I almost imagine it sort of like as you know, skydivers forming a circle and grabbing hands in order to help each other.
As you see this, I imagine this to be such as Haze is represented. In Haze's form, you watch as Boulder appears, and you start to replicate your comrades in Haze's form. And they start to daisy chain it, and watch yourselves get closer and closer and closer. And the winds start to howl, pick up, and the storm starts to rage on. And you can feel that you're getting closer. And the question is then asked, is he truly worth dying for?
Banff is sure that each one of us would give our lives for Beans to be back. Without hesitation. Because he knows that's how Beans would work in any one of our steads.
Ether. Your sister asked you a question earlier. What is your answer?
Can my sister repeat the question?
Sure. Exactly what the question was, I'm not, but I'm going to paraphrase.
Sure.
Why protect him?
Because they need him.
But who do you need?
I need them. I have no one else now.
As you say that, the apparition of your sister disappears. And you are left alone with Beans and the wolves. You can see a voice come through that's not Beans' own voice. You truly are alone now, aren't you? So now what?
Now we make a deal.
I like deals.
You give them back Beans. And you can do what you wish to me, because I have nothing and I'm truly alone.
That's a tempting offer. But you're not who I'm going after.
Who is it that you wish?
As he opens his mouth, Boulder, you see this person sitting in front of you. You just threatened him. But then you see your brother. Boulder! Brother! Wake the fuck up, bitch!
The Beans basically has taken the spot of the demon who was just sitting there.
That is correct.
Boulder is going to approach Beans, or the thing that is taking the spot of Beans, or Beans is taking the spot of right now, and he is going to punch Beans right in the face.
Awesome. Awesome.
And the hope is that because they are twins,
Sure.
the hope is that if it is actually beans,
Sure.
Boulder will feel something.
Sure. Awesome.
And if not, it just means he's gotten a head start in beating the shit out of whatever this thing is.
As you approach and take a swing at the beans in front of you, you do feel a connection.
As my fist pummels his face.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and take 5 points of damage.
I take 5 points of damage. Yes, okay. I immediately feel that pain. And then I immediately, it's enough to the point where Boulder feels it, and then the very next thing is he grabs Beans by the collar and just says, "Brother, it's you. You're here."
That's a nice try, buddy.
Okay, fine. I'm just going to keep punching this thing.
You know, it's surely sad that you were fucking stupid. I don't understand why he looked up to you. There's nothing here to look up to.
Boulder is just going to look at this very poor copy of Beans, and he's just going to smile, still feeling the pain of the last hit.
Sure.
And he's going to look at this thing dead in the ass in the face, and he's going to say, "Well, that just shows how stupid you are. Because Beans never looked up to me. I always looked up to him." And I'm just going to keep punching him.
For every punch you decide to throw, you will feel an immense pain, and we'll get back to that.
Shoot, I really wanted to hear how many punches I would get in and how much damage. Because something happens at a certain point.
Oregon. You watch as your goddess asks you a question. What was the response? What is truly inside you? What do you feel?
Hate. Rage.
For whom?
For whatever took him. For you. For that creature from hell.
Are you sure we even took him?
The more you ask me that question, the more I wonder who you are.
Clever girl. Now, let's make a deal.
What do you want?
Everything.
You need to be a little more specific than that.
You watch as the goddess turns into beans. Save me. You need to give up what you are holding on to. Or you cease to exist. The choice is yours.
You aren't beans. I don't care about saving you.
But who will protect you?
You think I care what happens to me? That is adorable.
What is it that you fear? There's a reason why I'm still here.
Failure. I fear failure, which is what I have experienced today. That is why you are here.
Failure is growth, and we all learn from it.
I'm a perfectionist.
And that is why you fail. Bamf, as you continue to move from one moment to the other, you start to realize that you are getting extremely close to Beans. You can watch, it's very animated like, as all of you continue to fling one person after the other into the storm faster and faster. But then lightning strikes. The first person to go is Boulder. And then the next is Morrigan. Then Onessa. Then Ether. Then Hayes. You're so close. You can have one last-ditch effort to save him. Are you ready?
I think something is dawning on Banff, and the effort to sort of bring everybody together was for his first thought here. And one thing that he knows for sure, that when you're smoking all together, it's really important to share and pass
To the left-hand side.
And instead of, maybe chasing glory and chasing after saving Beans in this moment, maybe what he needs to do is share. Maybe what he needs to do is send his breath, his smoke, his essence to his friends instead. And so he thinks maybe what he needs to do is just let go and breathe into his friends. And so he's going to try to sort of take in one last huge hit.
and breathe out and exhale and send this breath out to his friends and try to provide strength to them instead of himself.
As you do that, apparitions as before reappear in almost rapid fire as you exhale for one last time. And you can watch as all of your friends start to throw themselves into the wind faster and faster. Their apparitions get quicker and quicker. And you watch as the haze shaped that's boulder grasp hands with beings, and they embrace. And at that moment, a bright light is then shown from your chest. And you can feel the warmth inside as a light begins to appear. At that moment, the rest of you can start to feel a warmth inside of you. Ether, you are alone, and you watch this light start to emerge from your chest. You're going to do this alone. There's nothing you can stop. I don't want your soul. But there is another one of your kin that I really want.
Who?
That's for you to find out. And as you do so, the three wolves in front of you turn into Onissa, Boulder, and Morgan. They look at you and smile as they grasp each other's hands, and a light can be shown from them. Looks like our time is up here. But I'll see you soon again. And your light starts to glow even brighter. Morgan, the light of the divine seems to embrace you once again, little feather. Have you noticed yet what it is that I seek? Or have you finally realized he's been here the whole time?
You want the beans?
No,
Then who do you want?
your devotion and faith in me.
And if I give you that, if I follow you, if I give you my loyalty, you will give him back. Just as he was before you took him.
I never did. You need to learn to trust yourself, Morgan. This is why you fail. and the light starts to brighten. Looks like our time is up here.
I'll do it. Just give him back. Get him back. I don't care what it takes. I'll make the deal.
We will see. We will be in touch. Onissa. Beans is yapping your ear off.
Amazing.
As he continues to yap your ear off, you realize something's off. Something seems to call you. Call your name.
Like I hear my name being called, or like I feel just like a pull somewhere?
You feel a pull.
I will like kind of stand a little confused and like pick up Beans and put him down on the ground for a second and just like put like my hand like on his mouth just for a moment.
That's fair.
To like and then I'll wait here for a moment. If you see giant flying rock, hide behind something. And I'll start walking towards wherever I'm feeling the pull.
As you feel the pull calls your name, Beans grabs your hand in desperation and tries to pull you away.
What is wrong?
They want you.
What wants me?
He wants you.
Beans are not making sense. Who?
Search within yourself and you'll find the answer.
Onissa like just like looks at herself like, what the fuck do you mean?
Don't go. Don't leave me again.
Oh, okay, I won't leave you. And I'll pick him back up and put him back on my shoulder. But
Boulder.
I feel like I need to go.
You keep pounding at this thing. How many times have you swung?
Oh, at least 11 times.
Awesome. What's your health pool?
I deal on a punch. I deal 5 points of damage for each hit.
Yep.
So that's 55 points of total damage.
Okay, good. How are we looking right now?
I mean, I haven't raged yet.
Cool. So, as you continue to rage onto this thing, the last words that you hear before a light starts to emit from you is your brother, his true voice come through. Boulder. You're stronger than you think. But strength isn't everything. Remember the teachings we were taught. Not everything is as it seems. Why do you keep pursuing things that don't need to be pursued. Open your eyes. And see. Do you keep punching?
No, I don't need to anymore.
Okay. As you punch your last, you notice your hands are full of blood. Whose blood? Can't tell. But you are injured. 55 points of damage. A light starts to emit from your chest. And he grabs onto you, this version of Beans, and embraces you. As all of this happens, all of you have the brightest light emit from your chest. And you're brought back to the room you were. And as you guys come back from the sense of reality, you watch as worms that were attached to your skull drop to the floor.
Sorry, worms?
Excuse me, what?
Worms? Worms. The word you said was worms?
Worms.
Pinching worms.
Okay.
Are they
Mosquito worms.
Are they like black, like the ichor stuff?
Correct.
Or oh no!
I
But
hate
like,
it.
but could we just, for flavor's sake, could it always just be pronounced worms, like they speak with a German accent?
Just for less
Wagner
impact.
Puff over here approves of this.
You can watch as all of this light is emitted from you, and each one of your apparitions and are brought back to life. You watch as Beans is in front of all of you.
Like totally normal?
He's curled up in a ball.
What the fuck is going on?
Is he breathing? Can we see like the rise and fall of his chest?
The observation is pretty clear. He is breathing.
What the?
Morgan flies over and like lands heavily on his chest. Puffs up. What the fuck are you doing?
Fuck, we have no idea how much of that was a dream, do we? Because we don't know how long the worms are on our head.
No.
Correct.
Fuck!
Well, I had a dream, guys, and you were there, and you were there, and you were, and we were all there.
Even
From the
me.
points of exhaustion, after 2 long fights, one with a dragon and one with a kraken, all of you have fallen asleep. And on your way up, parasites from the meteorite worked its way into the back of your skull. As you all fell asleep, Beans appeared in every single one of your dreams as a sense of help. And Beans is now collapsed on the floor from exhaustion. You were never alone. And that is where we end our tonight's story.
I am going to eat the beans.
do I wake up like having beaten myself bloody?
Yes. Pretty much. Well, what I'm going to say is that when you look to your right, you're going to see a big ass hole into the concrete floor that you were punching.
Nice.
This is the episode where Beans engineered his own death so that he could see everybody at the funeral.
Yes.
That is amazing.
That's really darn funny.
That is amazing.
Oh my god.
Okay, so we still had a parasite talking to us through some sort of collective hive mind. Right?
Yes. 100%.
Yes.
Okay.
Some of
Okay,
it is
so that
real, some
part
of it
is real.
isn't.
Okay.
And that's the part that Janelle, you get to deal with.
Here we go.
So that'll conclude this episode of Legends and Lore. I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank everybody for playing. Thank you, North Wolf, for running an amazing game. Whew, I got to unpack a lot of that. So, yeah, just let's go around real quick and have everybody kind of give their little shout outs and their whatever they got going on. Let's start with North Wolf. Go ahead and you kick us off and pass it on when you're done.
Ah, crap. Sorry for the trauma for everybody who's listening. You know, I did my best. This was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this level of RP. It is something that I truly enjoy as a game designer, is to give you as many layers and new avenues to pursue so that you can have the liberty to open up this world even more than it already is. And you can find me on all socials as Northwolf911 or as Twisted Fates Productions. And we're currently doing a shit ton of things. So like, I'm not going to list them all here, but you can follow me over on those socials to find out what we're doing next. Whenever this comes out, I probably am running a bunch of other games or am in a bunch of other games as well. So I truly appreciate the opportunity to be here and to be surrounded by such amazing talent tonight. And that will be it for me. I'll popcorn it over to someone else who is also traumatized. Onissa.
Hey, everybody. I'm Janelle, or Boss Jellybean, all over the internet. I am still thinking about the trauma that I now am going to be the GM for the next game. Processing what I'm going to do.
Is it you next game?
It is.
Yeah, it's her. Pretty sure.
No,
I thought it was me.
I think it's
Is it
Andy.
you? Am I
It's
wrong?
Andy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's me.
Never mind. Not my problem.
I have to deal with all this.
Oh, awesome. My brother gets to deal with all the trauma I just dumped on everybody.
I guess I was
Yeah.
looking in old school. Never mind then. You can find me over on my channel, Boss Jellybean, where I DM Fey Dark Eclipse and various other games like Salvage Union, and coming up is also going to be Dimensions and Drones, which is going to be a fun Samurai Jack inspired D&D game.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's, I think when this comes out, Castleton will be back up too, so I'm also in that.
Hey, awesome.
I will throw it over to Andy, since he's the one who is actually doing the next game.
Yeah. Hello once again, beautiful nerds. Andy, aka MrDanDyDM. You can find me on my YouTube channel, where you can find all of the games that I run. Starting off some pretty intense episodes that are currently coming out for Our Flag Means Doom, as well as Survivors of Ashkelon, and some episodes coming up for Shadows of Ashkelon, which might have a new cast member
It's me.
really soon.
It's me.
It's Janelle. Yeah. So they will be playing their own version of Redacted. You'll just have to watch the episode,
Nice.
and it's gonna be awesome. Man, I'm gonna struggle to see how I follow up all of this this dream mind fuckery that has ensued. But I'm excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And I will hop, skip, and a jump it over to Rachel.
Hi, I am once again Rachel, otherwise known as the Organized DM. You can find me pretty much on every social with that moniker, and you can also find my Etsy shop under that tag. I am a part of Fate Arc Eclipse, as Janelle said. I am part of Castleton, which is probably going to be up and running again. I have a couple of other projects coming out, but I still don't know the dates on those, so I can't shut them out yet. But you can always follow me on those socials to see what I am going to be in next. And yeah, that is me. I am looking forward to more trauma. So I'm going to popcorn it over to Michael.
Hey guys, yeah, that was traumatic and beautiful and really well done, everybody. That was so much fun to RP with all of you. So over at the Dadvantage, we're gonna have a couple of things coming up. We're gonna keep continuing doing our Disney princesses in Eldritch Horror. We're gonna extend that and do a few more of those. They're all one shots, but they're just
awesome.
Juicy and fun. We're also going to spend a fair amount of time talking about the new D&D 5.24 and talk about how you build both flawed and flavorful characters with the new rules. So that's one of the things that we'll be really focusing on over the coming months. So come check us out. Also, if you happen to be at PAX West, you can go say hi to my partner in crime, Andy, and maybe get one of his Dodeca donuts, which are pretty killer and amazing. Oh yes, there's donuts everywhere. Rachel's yours is coming.
Back here somewhere.
Mine will be here soon.
Yeah, donuts for everybody.
So
just go check us out and stay healthy, nerds. I think that's really the best way to go. Back to you, Eric.
All right. For those 195 subscribers, you know who I am. I'm literally
and counting.
The Grin Master for creating Grin. We have got so much stuff coming up. Probably by the time this airs, we're working on season 3 now. We have a small learn to play series. We're playing Aliens. We're playing G.I. Joe. We're playing Power Rangers. We're playing Walking Dead and Star Wars. We're just playing everything. We just finished up recording the second or sophomore year of Strixhaven. Minus some audio issues, this should be pretty good. Other than that, I'm so blessed and thankful to be working with these 5 amazing people. I truly wish that you are able to watch this video. Go support them in all their projects and help them grow, help them become what they deserve to be. And until next time, when confirmed Andy takes over, just keep grinning.